So I created the channel with the business model in mind.
Yep.
And, so not just in terms of how do I create and deliver value, which is where a lot of creators stop, but
Yep.
also how do I capture value in return, right?
We're all about turning a crappy situation into something positive.
$250,000 of credit card
I
debt.
still remember the day when no one turned up.
Throw it in the garbage and start from scratch.
I could give myself a chance, so I started something.
I mean, I think that counts as from poop to gold.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is From Poop to Gold. I'm Daniel Harmon, Chief Creative Officer at Harmon Brothers. My guest today is Tim Schmoyer.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Tim has an awesome YouTube channel called Video Creators. How many subscribers do you have on there?
Almost 500,000.
Okay, about 500,000. Does a bunch of different tips for people that are trying to get into the YouTube game, as well as you're an author, right? You've got
I've
the
written
book.
a few books.
Yeah, so you've got a few of them.
Yeah, from different industries and past lives and things like that. But yeah, I've got a few.
Which is your favorite?
The one I like the most is actually back from when I was youth ministry days. Actually, I wrote 3 books back then, and I had a blog, and the blog was turned into a published book, which was interesting. So it was great because I didn't really have to write anything. It was already written. It just had to be organized.
Awesome, yeah.
But I liked it because we kept the conversational feel of the blog and the comments and things in the book. And I like that. Like, I don't see too many books that have feel like a conversation. And I really like that element of it.
Awesome. One of the books that our audience might have some interest in is 30 Days to a Better YouTube Channel.
Sure, yeah.
A practical guide to creating a highly subscribable channel. Yeah. So check that out for sure. So Tim, let's give our audience some background on you. Like, how did you end up getting into this YouTube game?
So I started my very first video. It was March 2nd, 2006. And I was in graduate school halfway across the country from my family. And I started dating this girl. And I was like, I want to introduce her to my family back home. Okay. And at that time, this was like pre-Facebook days. I had a WordPress blog that I was using the way we use Facebook today.
Yeah.
Just, what I ate for dinner the night before and how it made me feel. Stuff like that. And I was like, I heard about this thing called YouTube. And I was like, oh, maybe this could be a good place to put some videos, with this girl I was dating. And so I did one video. It's like 30 seconds long. Did it like on a 8mm camera that still used magnetic tape back then. You remember? And I would eat the tape half the time, and I had to use like Firewire, all these to get it off. And I'm like, can I just get video footage off the camera on my computer and then onto YouTube? And so I called it test video. So I put a lot of creative energy into this thing. And it's 30 seconds.
The title,
test video. I'm like, it's still there on YouTube today.
That's right.
It's really awkward and uncomfortable, but it's there. And I was like, okay, this wasn't too bad. And so my girlfriend and I started making videos that today we would know them as vlogs. But back then, that wasn't a word. It was just being awkward in public with a camera. So we would make little videos when we go out to eat, go to the park, go out to the movies or whatever, and I'd put them on YouTube and send the links to my family and friends back home. Well, then other people started watching, and I was like, wait a minute. Like, this is MySpace days now. I'm like, what? Like, you don't use your real name on the internet yet. Okay. And if anyone found out who you were, they would hunt you down and kill you for some reason. Like, there was all these big stories around the news about how dangerous online stuff was and everything. So I was getting a little nervous, and I was sort of like, who are these people? How are they finding my videos? Why do they keep coming back? Who is Catlicker69? And should I be concerned that they keep coming and commenting on my videos? And this was even before the subscribe button was a thing on YouTube. And the whole thing was just changing so fast. So I started reaching out to other people like, what's going on? How does this work? And they're like, we don't know, but if you figure it out, let us know. We're trying to figure that out ourselves. And they would say, hey, go talk to Tim. He's trying to figure it out. And so from the very beginning, like, of YouTube, I was in that position of like I like problems like that. I like solving like big complex things that like most people don't know how to address. And that gets me really excited.
Okay.
So I just dove in, and that's how it all got started. Eventually, I married that girl.
Okay.
And we somehow managed to have 7 kids in 8 years.
Got me beat by one.
Well, you can catch up. You got time.
Yeah, if I'm going that pace in 8 years, yes, I could.
Just boom, 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 boom.
Oh my gosh, that's
And,
amazing. Your wife is unreal.
And running what turned into a full-fledged business. You know, we've done YouTube strategy for Disney, Warner Brothers, HBO, Century 21, eBay, Budweiser, like a lot of big brands like that, all the way down to creators and brands who are just getting started. And
A lot of consulting.
yeah, a lot of consulting and a lot of client work and just doing a lot of strategy for these people and helping them, you know, read their analytics and make decisions about how to improve and move forward. And so far, our clients have earned 14 billion views and 61 million subs with us.
Dang.
So it's been fun. We've had a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
All
So
from
you-
my girlfriend,
Yeah.
now wife,
Now wife of 7 kids.
very tired wife.
And yeah, I was going to say, you guys homeschool too, which is...
Yeah, I do the homeschooling in the morning. And
You do?
Yeah, and then I start
Okay.
work around 11.
Oh, awesome. Wow, that's a good schedule. Man, I want to get it. So I homeschool.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's very cool. So this podcast is called From Poop to Gold. So when is a moment in your career or your life when you've had it's kind of a really crappy situation that you turned into something positive or something great?
Yeah, I can say that. Tell the story in hindsight. You know, like these stories, when things go to poop, they're never like fun. You know, you're like,
not when you're there in it. No.
Right? No, not at all. So, when I was in grad school, started the whole thing with the YouTube stuff. I was a youth pastor at a church down in Dallas, Texas area, and I thought that was going to be my career path for like the rest of my life. You know, I loved it. I loved just working with families. I loved seeing teenagers' lives like change and relationships between them and their parents and like I just loved it. Like people's lives being changed, I just loved.
Your career path was I'm just going to go have my ministry.
That's it.
Go and do my
Yep.
10K.
Yep. Just do the full-time ministry route. And it was going well, you know. We were seeing some fruit, we were seeing some results and things happening in people's lives, and it was around that time when my wife and I got married. We were still doing video, even today. We still publish videos to that channel, vlogs and things, and we were doing about 1 million views a month on YouTube at that time. And we were hearing the same stories of like life change coming out of the channels we were seeing happening in our local church. And but like there was like 1 million people literally, and the youth group was like 180. You know, so I'm not downplaying the 180 students by any means, but I was like, if I want to scale life change, like where should I go? So around that same time, I was working at a church, and things got pretty bad at the church. Like the growth was stagnant to declining, and there's a lot of different people, a lot of different reasons and opinions about, you know, why that was happening. There's about 14 of us on staff at the church, and within the make a long story short is within 11 months, 10 of us were fired. Oh, wow. And I was number 9 out of the 10. So like every month, boom, 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 and then it got to me, and it was rough because not only did I, like, you know, for good or for bad, like my entire identity was wrapped up in my job and like what I thought I would be doing for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
My our whole community, like the people we had relationships, were like instantly like cut off from us.
It's really
Not sure
tough.
why. And we were like in this small town in Minnesota, and there's like no other job opportunities, and in small town Minnesota, like everyone knows everyone, so rumors start spreading real fast, like, did he do something inappropriate with a student? You know, and you're like, no, it has nothing to do with it. But I didn't want to like throw like some of the church leaders under the bus, you know. So you just kind of like take it, and the rumors fly, and it just, you know, you're out shopping and everyone, like, it's a small town. So people, like, even if they didn't go to your church, they know who you are. They can be like the glances and stuff. So not only is like a community gone, and your income is gone, and the friendships are gone, and like, and you feel isolated. And now people are thinking like rumors about you that are completely unfounded, have absolutely nothing to do with anything, you know, that actually happened. And
just rough.
Yeah, so basically they got rid of everyone who was like, no, things need to change and move forward. And so that was really rough for me. But my identity and family relationships and everything were just, it was really, really hard. Yeah. So even thinking about it now, like, it's still just really hard to like just think about that whole season of life. So we stayed there in town for another 2 more years, and just because I felt like we weren't released from this place, like I felt like I was still supposed to be there, and so we weren't a part of that community anymore, but we still stayed there, and that was hard. And I had a blog at the time that had accidentally turned into the most widely read youth ministry blog on the internet at the time, and that's where the previous books were published. And so I was speaking on stages at youth conferences and church events and things across the country, and kind of like what I just kind of accidentally reproduced in YouTube space is what I was doing over in youth ministry space at the time. And it was 2 years, and I lived off the blog. It was okay, but I was still looking actively for other ministry positions and things, and wasn't finding anything that I felt, whether I was gun shy or not. I'm not quite sure exactly why, but I just couldn't find anything that I was willing to take. And so the YouTube stuff was really taking off for us, and this random guy named Jeremy, still a good friend of mine today, he emailed me. He's like, I keep bumping into you on the internet. I keep finding you like your youth ministry stuff, and then I'm finding like your YouTube stuff, and he's like, who are you? And so we had a conversation. He owns a video production storytelling studio in Cincinnati called Epifio. Have you heard of them? Yes.
I don't. Well, no? Actually, have I?
They do a lot of
I'm not sure.
explainer videos.
It sounds familiar,
stuff.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think I've run into their stuff.
Yeah, they've done I guarantee you've seen some of their work.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so long story short is that he wanted us. We moved to Cincinnati to do YouTube strategy full time for their clients, because they'd make this video asset, and the client's always like, "Great, I'm using it on my website, but is there anything else I can do with it?"
Yeah.
And so then it was like helping them develop a content strategy for how to use that asset plus other video stuff on their channel. And
they were doing the creation. You were developing more of the distribution strategy behind it.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and had a lot of fun doing that. A lot of success with that as well, but after a year and a half, they had this meeting with me. After a year, they said, "Tim, you've been doing great. This has been awesome, but our company is not going to be doing that side of the business anymore. And so in 6 months, you're going to be without a job." And they said, "But we think you should continue to do this, and you should continue, like, start a business that does for other people what you've done for us and for our clients." And they said, "We want to give you, even though we're shutting this part down, we want to keep paying you for 6 months, and come use our office, use our resources, work with people if we need, like, have questions in the office, but just for 6 months, we want you to get this started." So I was like, okay, well, I got 6 months to get something. That's right. And my income again was going to stop. And I was like, I got 6 months. So I started the Video Creators channel, and I created it on January 2nd, 2013. And I got 6 months to turn this from zero to full-time income for my family, because I do not want to go back to working for someone again.
Yeah.
And it was a much different, like, they were very supportive and very helpful. So it was like night and day difference. But so I
uploaded they had your back, even though they were just like, this isn't our direction anymore.
And that guy Jeremy, I still go to his house every week,
Yeah.
and see them very often and stuff. So like, still good relationships with him. And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do for myself what I've been teaching other people to do, and I got 6 months to do it. And at the end of 6 months, the YouTube channel had around 3,000 subscribers, and it was generating about $10,000 a month. And I was like,
off of 3,000 subscribers.
That's right. Yeah. I learned from my blog. Everything on my blog before was free.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this time I need to start with a business model. you know? So I created the channel with a business model in mind.
Yep.
And, so not just in terms of how do I create and deliver value, which is where a lot of creators stop, but also how do I capture value in return, right? So after 6 months, they say it was June 15th, 2013, and it was my last day working at Epifio, and I was like, I should have quit my job a long time ago. It's paying way better, I was nervous. It wasn't like, how you start companies, like ups and downs and things. It wasn't like home run for there.
Yeah.
But, my family is far more well off in every regard in terms of not just like relationally and spiritually and financially, but like everything.
Yeah.
It's still the mission though. Like what I experienced originally on YouTube is helping people reach more people and change lives. Because we might be able to reach a few million people a month on YouTube, but what if we could actually come behind other people who have missions or what they're trying to accomplish on their channel and then help them reach millions of people? You know, like how much more influence and impact can we have on the world by not just saying like, hey, look at us, we're so awesome, and like listen to what I have to say, but like helping all these other people do the same thing. Yeah. And so that's what our brand is all about, is helping people change lives, is reach people and change their life. So it's been a lot of fun, but I never would have, our family would not be in this position in any way if I hadn't been kicked out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So what would you say for someone that's kind of spearheading this YouTube thing, top 3 strategies you'd say to go after if they're wanting to build a following on YouTube, or just for that matter, make a video that's going to get a lot of exposure?
Yeah, it really comes down to getting good viewer signals from viewers. Okay. So how do you do that? The top one is like branding becomes really important. And what I mean by branding isn't necessarily like your logo and icons and things like that. I mean, like, what do people feel when they think about your brand? Yeah. How do they like emotionally connect with what you stand for, what you're all about, what you represent, you know, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And it needs to be communicated really clearly, because most people have very short attention spans. They're not going to take a half hour watching a bunch of your videos trying to figure it out. You get like 2 to 3 seconds for them to be like, oh, I understand what they're all about. Like, confusion is the opposite of growth. Like, if anyone's confused about your brand, they're like, why would I subscribe? Like, they're not going to subscribe because they don't know what they're going to get, what it's about. And so
we always say the confused customer never buys.
Exactly.
The same way the confused viewers never watches, right?
And never subscribes and never comes back. Right.
On and
so
on.
Brand clarity is really important. And I don't mean just like subscribe because every week we're going to give you a new video that teaches you how to detail your car, you know. That's the what, but that will give people like, I understand what I'm gonna get, but to start building the emotional connection that gets people to like start coming back and being like, oh, I love these guys. That's like the why it matters, so that you can be proud of the trophy you have parked in your garage or something.
Okay.
I just made that. I don't know if that's true, but it's something like, for me, it's about reaching. We're going to teach you how to grow your YouTube channel. So master YouTube is our what.
Yep.
Change lives is our why.
Awesome.
Most people don't believe that with us.
Yeah.
You know?
They're just like,
most people like
guys
master
are just
YouTube.
blowing smoke.
Yeah. Most people like master YouTube, make money, master YouTube, feel popular, like whatever. But my goal isn't to grow like the biggest, baddest business in the world. It's like, I want to do something I'm passionate about with people I'm passionate about serving, who are passionate about what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
And so you position yourself in a way that those people are attracted to you. So anyway, so number one is the brand has to be really clear, and it needs to be communicated in your branded intro, your channel art, your sections, your playlists. You know, how long does it take someone to figure out who you are, what you're about? That needs to be really clear.
Clear, and that continuity across all the touch points of it.
That's right.
Okay.
Number 2, I would say is, and this also points back to the human element of what grows YouTube channels, is storytelling.
Yep.
So, I mean, you guys are masters at this, so I'm preaching to the choir here in one regard, but like...
Preach.
All right,
baby, preach.
Here we go. It's been a while since I've preached. A lot of people, they just like, okay, I gotta make this super short, make this super clear, make it like 3 minutes, because I heard that anything longer than 3 minutes on the internet doesn't work. So, was not true. So last year I did an experiment at Social Media Marketing World where I interviewed 9 different people, and I did 2 videos with each person. I did one video like, tell me how what's your story of how you discovered this or changed this on your channel, and then I did another video where we like the same content but just give me the 3 bullet points.
Okay.
All right. And so we did 9 of these, and I published them back to back at the exact same time.
Okay.
And then I put them on groups and analytics, all this like evaluation and stuff. And the result is that the story-based content performed at least double in every regard. Engagement was quadruple. Awesome. Watch time was higher. Some of the actual views it got was 10x what just the 3-point counter part video performed, right?
Wow.
Unless the story was lame, then the 3-point the tip video actually outperformed.
Yes.
So
it's not just about having a story,
right?
It's got to be a good story, relevant story, an emotionally connecting story,
right? And that's the key. Like someone emotionally connected. So you get into a story, you start picturing things in your mind, and you're putting yourself in that character's like shoes and experiencing things, and everyone that just works. And we've seen that with a lot of our clients too. Just hands down, the story works better. So a good story. You want like a really brief. This is the way like when we talk about it, like really brief 3-act structure is about a character who wants something, overcomes conflict to get it, and is transformed by the process. You know, so like
that's basically exactly what we do all the time with our videos, right?
Yeah, it can get really complex, obviously, but like if you just want a starting place, just start at like who's the character? What do they want? Why can't they have what they want?
Yeah.
What's at risk or what's at stake if they don't get what they want?
Yeah.
Who or what comes along to help them get what they want? Then how do they ultimately get it? And then how are they changed by the process?
So essentially how to build a story brand, right?
Exactly.
You've read Donald Miller's book, right?
Totally. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we start implementing that kind of stuff on channels like, again, going back to the Optimized for Humans, Not Robots. That's the stuff people connect with. They love the brand. They want to come back and watch more videos. They turn on notifications because they're like, when's the next one coming? And even educational channels, like, that's what they do. Like your story, the thing that you're teaching someone is connecting to someone else's story that they're currently living, and you come in as the guide in that respect. So we can get down that rabbit trail. So, and then the third thing I would say is like creators tend to just like to create and then keep creating without ever evaluating.
Yeah.
And I think there's something that's really missed where you just kind of like keep spinning your wheels and without. And testing and evaluating can be done in a lot of different ways. Google or YouTube Analytics provides a lot of data and information, but even just getting to know your target audience better and reevaluating how do we pitch value, how do we communicate value, how do we capture value, and all that, rather than just kind of like, well, we're just going to keep doing this and hopefully one of these videos will work well. It's just kind of like I have a friend who's doing the exact same thing on YouTube for 10 years, publishing daily content for 10 years. And has like 12,000 subscribers.
This is hurting me inside right now.
Yeah. And so I've told him like, dude, it's not working. You should probably, but too many people wait too long to like. I'm like, do 10 video. Like our rhythm is every 8 to 10 videos we stop and we reevaluate.
Okay.
We just look at those 10 videos in isolation of the rest of the channel and just evaluate. Like, here's the experiments and the tests we did on these. How do we iterate for the next 10 videos we're going to do?
And over what time period does that usually take place? Those like
it depends on how often the channel's publishing. Okay. But like if you're publishing once a week, that would be 8 to 10 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. So essentially, you've got to kind of stop and sharpen the saw occasionally, as opposed to just continuing to saw. And it's very much along the lines of like test, measure, analyze,
iterate.
Iterate. Yeah, there you go.
I like that analogy. I'm going to use the saw analogy myself. I'm going to steal that. That was a good one.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, that is one of the hardest things to do, especially when you're having any kind of success at all. Is stopping to be like, okay, can we sharpen it in any way? Can we make things better? Or if, like you said, or if someone's just spinning their wheels, why not spin your wheels and actually go somewhere?
Yeah, and most people, a lot of creators I work with who are in the multi-million subscriber range, they wait too long to iterate because then like their momentum plateaus and then they just try harder, the same thing, and then it starts to decline, and it's really hard to turn that around. Like you actually need to reinvent yourself before the plateau and like change it while they like before they're expecting something different, and keep the momentum going. There's very few creators like Shane Dawson has done that multiple times. Phil DeFranco has done that a few times. Like so, there are some OG creators who have been able to do that, but most people just kind of get stuck.
Yeah, no, you see that all the time. Like the YouTube stars of yesteryear just kind of start to fade out into the background because they're not constantly adjusting. And that's the way all these platforms are going to be. They're always constantly going to be updating, and you just got to be able to keep up with that.
That's right.
Where should people, if people want to find you, Tim, where should they look you up?
You can look me up at, I have my own podcast every week. Just search for Video Creators or Tim Schmoyer. It should pop up. Or we post weekly videos at youtube.com/video creators as well, just to help train people how to grow their audience and spread a message that reaches people and changes their lives.
Awesome. Spell your last name for our audience.
SCHMOYER.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so they have that clarity. Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us, Tim. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And thank you for the tips for our audience.
Yeah,
They're going to
totally.
love those. And gosh, I love them myself. We're going to go out and implement. So thank you guys once again for watching, listening. So make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next one.